Hi everyone, in this video I have a pretty awesome video to make. I'm going to be talking about 3 worlds that are outlined in your very own Bible and Torah or Quran if you read any of those. So, the 3 worlds, if you didn't know, there are 3 worlds that every single one of us is a part of and exists within. So there's 3 worlds, and you once existed in one world, then you existed in 2, then you existed in 3. Now, what are the worlds? We've all heard the term physical, we've all heard this term soul, we've all heard this term spirit. We know what physical is. It's matter. It's the actual stuff that we see using our 5 senses of smell, touch, taste, hear, and see. And what do you need to do that? What do you need in order to what is it that you need in order to experience physical reality? Well, you need a physical brain. You need physical senses and organs to perceive physicality. Alright, so that's the first part of you. Now keep in mind that this is still spiritual. And the second part of you, we're going backwards, so the last is physical, second is soul. Soul is your desire, it's your emotions, it's your persona, it's your invisible, non-physical, imitation spiritual body. It's your emotions, your thoughts, your desires, your urges, your feelings, your sensations, all that kind of stuff. That's not physical. Okay? So that's the second world. And going backwards once again, we're going to the very beginning, the root of it all. The root of it all is, of course, the spirit world. And the spirit world is the first thing that you were created as, perfect and awesome. And from this, you have developed and grown everything ties back down to it, right? So it's like your foundation. The physical is a sort of like a thing that's attached to it and streaming to it. And so is your soul, which is sort of like streaming to it and toward it, right? From your soul, from your spirit, it's going to your soul, and from your soul, it's coming back down to your spirit. So there was 2 creations. Remember, in the Bible and the Torah, there's a lot of theories. Why is there 2 creations? In Genesis 1:27, it says, "So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them." The second creation is Genesis 2:21. "So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, He took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh." So you're asking, and then He made the woman from the man's rib. So we already know that this is not physical creations, but we need to ask, why is there 2 creations? So now you know why, because there is the spirit and the soul. So the first one of male and female, He created them. That is, of course, the spirit. And then, of course, second is from the male He took the female. That's the sort of like the astral imitation body of the souls that we kind of use sort of to navigate our mental and spirit and mental worlds. And finally, we have 3 bodies, 3 creations, 3 worlds, and that's why we have the several creation stories. So remember how it talks about God said, "Do not eat from the tree of good and evil." Well, remember, like I said earlier, you need an organ of perception in each of the realms to perceive something. So you can be blind in the spiritual world, you can be blind in the soul world, and you can be blind in the physical world. Well, actually, you can't be blind in the spiritual world, only in the soul and physical world. So remember, you can be born blind in this world, or deaf, dumb, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the soul world, you can also be blind. You can also lack something. You can have lack of perception in a spiritual way. You can be blind to what you're blind to. And then you wake up and you're like, holy crap, I was not seeing things right this whole time. Okay. But with that being said, and you have to adjust and relearn how life works and everything, but so that's spiritual awakening for you. And so He wanted us to get the thoughts and knowledge, but that can only be done if we do what God tells us to not do. Remember how it says God told us, "Do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." if you were to do that, you would become like gods. The serpent told us, which is a slave of God, a being that works for God. It's not an enemy of God. They don't fight each other. So remember the devil said, if you eat from this, you will be like gods. You will have knowledge. You will have you will be able to know good from evil. You'll be able to know what's right and what's wrong to do. And in your soul, you already know what's just, but you need to know with your soul, because we're blind with our souls. So why did God say, don't do it, don't do it? Why did God not want us to have the knowledge of good and evil? Well, he lied. He said don't do it, but he meant do it. That leads us to show that God sometimes leads us to make our own decisions. And if he would have said do this, it's a command. If he would have said eat from the tree so you can get this knowledge and start experiencing your soul reality, and that would have been a command. It would have been an insincere relationship. So what God said, he's going to say, I'm going to say, don't eat from the tree of knowledge and good and evil. And what's going to happen is that when you don't eat from it, when you eat from it anyway, it's like you sinned, but still at the end of the day, you got what you needed. You awoken. So it was sort of like a way that God let us think things for ourselves. So when you hear of the word, don't do this, don't do that from God, sometimes he means that you have to do it. You know what I mean? So I hope this video made sense. A couple things in conclusion. The body is matter. This is matter. The soul is desire. Your soul is desire, its urges, its thoughts, its emotions. It's all that internal stuff that you're feeling and experiencing, other than the actual five senses of the physical world. So there's a separation there. And finally, your spirit is sort of like the thing that is putting those two together and providing for those two to exist in a way. But God is the ultimate provider. Anyways, I hope this video had made sense. Thanks for watching.